Greetings, everyone. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope everyone had a happy holiday. I'm doing great. I've just been busy lately, wrapping things up, getting ready for the new year, which I'm looking forward to. 2014 is going to be a great year. But anyway, for today's video, as you can see, this is going to be a video response to this question of the week, number 60, I made like 4 weeks ago or something like that. Basically, well, let me read this. Let me read our friend's question here. So this is a question posed by our friend Gabriel Ferreira. Okay, so let me go ahead and read his question. Let's see. I had some psychological problems for a few months, and I could not study anything. I took 3 months off, and now I think I'm fine to restart my studies again. Do you know what is the best way to restart my studies? I'm currently studying French. I have already finished Pimsleur. I'm currently using Osimil, and when I stopped, I was still on the 30th lesson. Okay, so that's the question. Now, before I get to the nitty-gritty, I want to talk about something important in relation to this, because this plays a big part in trying to catch up, trying to get back up to par in your studies. I want to talk about the duration of study. So a language you study for, let's say 6 months to a year versus a language you study for, I don't know, 2 months, 3 months or something like that. So when you take breaks, okay, let's start with the language that you study longer. Let's say you study this language for 6 months to a year, and you took off like 6 months or something like that. You lost touch with the language. You haven't been in touch with the language. You just took a break. Something came up in your life. I would say that if you've studied the language that long, you built up a pretty good foundation already. You're able to speak. You may have some limitations in some areas, but for the most part, you're able to speak. The constructions you've learned are strong. You've strengthened those up over the months. You've learned quite a bit of vocabulary, proverbs, what else? Idioms, what have you. So you have a strong foundation in this language. And again, this is for a language you've studied for at least a year, 6 months to a year. However, if you've taken off some time, it's possible that you will forget some things like, and by the way, I'm speaking from experience because this is something that I've experienced. It's easy for me to speak from my very own experiences. If you don't practice for a while, you may forget stuff like proverbs, idioms, because you don't use these very often. You will forget those, and structure-wise, very hard to forget structure, especially if you've been practicing for a whole year. But I will definitely say you will forget some proverbs, idiomatic expressions, and some vocabulary, maybe some rare vocabulary you haven't really used that much. But for the most part, you still have strength in the language. It's just been inactive, and you just have to, jump right in and just practice with native speaker. Now, when the language that you study for a shorter period of time, this is where you're going to run into some problems because you haven't spent enough time in the battlefield practicing with the native speakers. So when you take off this much time, you're going to feel that you've lost a lot. You haven't really lost everything. It's inactive, and you have to go back through everything. So I think the longer you've studied a language, the longer of a break you can take and the less effect it will have on your progress. Whereas with this language you've studied for a shorter period of time, the longer you take off, the more time you have to spend getting back up to par, and the more effect it's going to have on the progress. So ideally, when you start a language, you want to try to keep it going for at least 6 months. I know things happen in people's lives, but that's just the reality of it. That's what happens. So that's that. Now, what's the solution for our friend here? The solution, let's see, where am I going to start? Let's start with the shorter time. I don't know how long you've studied French for, but let's just do it this way. Um, the shorter, the language you study for a shorter period of time, if you're trying to get back up to par, this is what I would do. First of all, I will pull all of my notes out, which everyone should have notes. Whenever you start a new language, you should have notes always. Pull out all of your notes and dedicate a whole week of going through those notes. Okay. Not only that, um, I'll say like a couple days going through the notes, and then like the third day, go to a chat room and find some native speakers to practice with. Have all your notes out. There may be some things you want to say you forgot. They're right there in your notes. Have your notes out and just practice with the native speakers for a couple days. And by the end of the week, you should feel that you're back up to par. This is just something that I've done in the past. So go through your notes, spend a few days doing that, and then go to a chat room and just practice with a native speaker. When you practice with these native speakers, a lot of stuff is going to be used, especially certain expressions that you learned a long time ago, but you just forgot them or they're just inactive. So I would do that for an entire week. Now, for the language that you study longer, you really don't have to go through notes. Basically, just jump right in, find a native, and just practice with them because, like I said, 6 months to a year, you're already able to speak the language. You just need to just get in there and just speak. And then, like I would say, after a few days, I don't know, you just those vocabulary that you forgot, they'll just come back naturally and easily. So, like I said, this is just based off of my very own experiences, and it works. So, like I said, things happen, life happens, and sometimes you have to walk away from the language for a little bit, but you can always get back into the groove. You just have to take a good approach to do that. So try that out and see how it works for you, and I wish you the best. So that is it. I think I covered everything. That's Bradley's question. I will, as usual, I'm going to post this video as a response to that question of the week. And yeah, I think that is it. Thanks for viewing. If you guys have any other questions, let me know. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys in the next video.